do know how to use it. It's me again. So this is part 2 for mainly my friend who would like to know what to get based on what I do. So I'm on the second part of my list. So this was the first part. Now this is the second part. I'm doing this in order of like the different sections of my pack, in terms of the order that I do pack them in. So there's a couple of doubling on the different parts that I'm putting out there because of sometimes one thing will be in one part and then there's another thing like it in another part, so there might be repeats. So on my list, because I keep track of weight and stuff, is my nice heavy backpack. It is heavy. I think it's like 5 pounds or something really dumb like that. So, but I like this pack. It works for me, and I don't know, I'm not willing to change at this point. I'm not willing to spend money on a new pack. It is my back and it's my hike, so I don't really care. And you know, some folk out there who go ultralight say, you know, you don't need the brain, take the brain off. So I use the brain. There's 2 outside pouches and one on the inside. I actually use them. I like things organized a certain way. It's just one of my things. So yeah, that's the first thing. By the way, that's a Gregory Diva 60. So I know it's big, and it's probably bigger than what most people would do. It's just, that's what I've got. Okay. I do have a piece of tin foil. I thought I got it out, but maybe not. It doesn't matter. You guys know what tin foil looks like. Just a little piece. I use it as a lid on my pot, whether I'm using a full pot or my cup. I actually usually use a titanium cup as my pot. Weight savings, right? And that took off a good little chunk, which I love. But that'll get repeated later. Yeah, so there is a foil lid. If you're wondering what's going on here, this section of my pack, last video was like the sleep system on the bottom, and on the top is like my kitchen kind of thing, okay? Let's see. So next I have my stove. I do use the case. So the stove that I'm using is a pocket rocket. This took a bit off of my weight as well when I got rid of my old one. I can't remember what it's called. Can't remember who makes it. But it's just a base. It was like 22 bucks, and it was like a pretty wide surface area. I thought it was good for getting started, and I don't think it was too awful, but I did take a little bit off. I do use the case. These things just seem so delicate to me. I'm not comfortable with like stuffing it in somewhere. I'm not. So it goes in the case. I don't care. I can also fit my mini Bic inside the case with it. So boom, there's my stove with the fuel. Okay. And let's see, this video is gonna be pretty short, I think, pretty straightforward. I do have matches listed on this. It's just like a backup, right? But I need to take it off this part of the list because it should be in I make a little fire kit. So don't know why that's on this part. My bear can. I don't hang my food. I had experiences that, I mean, I'll be long-winded about it. So to cut out the long story, I do use a bear vault. I like the bear vault. It's convenient for me, and yeah, it's my back, right? It's about, I think they're about like 2 pounds or something. So like that does add up, I get it. I do bring toothpaste in a little tiny Ziploc bag, and a toothbrush. I'm replacing this toothbrush. I know some people will like, you know, they'll like saw off most of the handle, and so they have this little toothbrush, which is fine, and I never did bother doing that. I haven't gone there yet. I have we found a toothbrush that I'd gotten from the dentist one day. It's unused, and it's like extremely light. When I hold it, I'm like, holy man. Like, it's just a toothbrush, but I don't know. I'm probably going to replace this with that. Who knows, right? So anyone can make fun of me for not cutting it down, but I don't care. My tent. So again, I say MEC instead of MEC. I used to use a MEC Camper 2, which really it's the same thing as what was that MSR one? MSR, I don't remember what it's called. If I remember, I'll put it in text there. I liked that tent, but it did have a faulty thing in the pole system, so I did go with Camper 2 next. But now what I'm trying this year, and I'm not going to show it, but I do have the case for, I don't use this. I waited and compared it to the case for my Camper 2, and it was a ridiculous different amount, and it would kind of was getting rid of the whole point of having an ultralight tent. But anyway, this is just the poles. I'm using I should take this off, but it's just I just felt like the poles need to have a surface area in between, because I now can put my tent in the pack, which I love. Haven't been able to do that, and it really changed, you know, how it felt on my back. So awesome, I don't have to have it underneath the tent on the outside. I just found it's just more comfortable. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I've done it for years, but I like that I can just stuff everything into the main part of the pack. I buy these Opsak, Loksak, whatever they're called. I don't remember exactly. This is, I think they're meant for the bear bags that you can get, and it helps keep down the scent of the food or whatever that you are packing in there. This one I use for my smellies that's not food. So things like my fuel. I might put my toothpaste in it, but the toothpaste I do try to put into the bear can itself, because it is quite a strong smell, right? Yeah, so I can't remember what else, like I know when I'm out there. So anyway, I have this nice and thick. Let's see. And then there's my food, which is going to be in a video on all its own. And I do bring, I know people tend to prefer to bring the smart water bottles. I had a bad experience with those the last time I did them. The water started to taste like the plastic so bad. They were brand new. Within the first day, we get 40 degrees Celsius when I go usually. So I think even brand new bottles, it was creating this taste that made me fear that I was not going to fare well further on in my trip. And that was a trip that I did cut off, and that was one of the reasons. There was a few things that happened on that trip. So I do the Nalgene thing. These are almost 1.5 liters. And I have 3 of them. I don't usually bring all 3. Depends on how difficult or long a stint that I have in a trip that I would need to store the water. I used to use a Camelback. There is a trip that I will do at one point where I might have all 3 of these, and that because I am a slow hiker, and there'll be no water for a really good chunk of time there, so good distance. So I have to kind of think about that, right? I'd rather carry it and be safe. But anyway, generally I would bring 2. There would be one that I could drink out of, and this would be my dirty one. So it's got some tape on it, and water goes in this one first, and then I carefully pour it into the other one as I strain it with cheesecloth. And I treat it in the other bottle, and then I will fill this up to have, so that when I'm ready for more and there's no stream, then I've got that, right? And that's it for that section. That's the upper part of the main body of my tent. I keep calling it my tent, my pack. So anyway, yeah, I will see you next time, my friend. I hope this is actually helping you, and anyone else who cares, I don't know. I will, for Tracy, I know you asked about the food. Maybe not the next video, but the one after, I think, will be food day. Okay. So happy trails, guys. Always an adventure. Make it a great one. I'll see you next time.